What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Want to talk about CANELO vs Smith weigh-ins. Just watched it. Link in the description in case you missed it. Want to watch it? You can watch it on HBO Boxing. Not going to really spend too much time on undercard, but I did like the fight that I'm most looking forward to. There's two. I want to see Anthony Yarde. I don't even know if I've seen him on the undercard weigh-ins, but I think he's scheduled to fight on here. And then also Willie Mongoose versus Gabe Rosado. Should be a fun fight. I don't know how meaningful it is to the middleweight division, but still, it'll be a fun fight. Both fighters look cut up and they look in good shape. And Gabe Rosado and him and Monroe started mugging each other, getting each other's face. And then Gabe Rosado ended up pushing Willie Monroe. So both guys, a little bit of tension, but Gabe Rosado actually physically touched him and stuff. So looking forward to that fight. Main event, Canelo versus Liam Smith. Now, I told people for a while, Canelo is 26 now, and I think his body is growing. He's big. You look at his neck, you look at his calves, you look at it, you could just tell the build of him. He's big. I really feel he can clearly make middleweight. And his body, to me, is rejecting 154. And for the first time since 2013, I believe, 5 consecutive fights, he's going down, dropping that extra pound. And to me, it showed. I said this before the fight. He looked a little bit drawn in the face. He always kind of looks like that at fights. But as he's getting older, I think that is more apparent, right? You look at the fight. Let me tell you guys the actual weights, but I posted this. Canelo weighed in at 154 even. Smith weighed in at 154. However, you look at the whole press conference. Look at Liam Smith's face. He's the bigger guy, taller, right? And he looked more comfortable making that weight. Like there was no real signs of struggling to make weight, and he's the bigger, taller guy, right? Because he's comfortable at that weight. But for Canelo, he looked almost a little bit miserable. Like look at him right there, like no real facial reaction, and that's a sign of struggling to make weight, right? Because you don't really have the energy, you're not in the best of moods. It's just like being groggy or something when you wake up. Like that's how I am. When I wake up and I'm like super tired and groggy, you got the sleep in your eye, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to be friendly. And that's kind of how it could feel when you're struggling with weight. So I do believe Canelo struggled to get down here. He did make the weight, but it's not good for your body. And when he was younger, he could do it. We'll see what happens on fight night tomorrow. But he weighed in naked. That's another indication. Like they didn't want to take any chances and come up over on the scale, so they just had him weigh in naked from the get-go. And these are all indications that, unless you just like being naked with the towel covering you, you know what I'm saying? It's the indications that you struggled and you didn't want to chance it, or you're very close to maybe being over. But he did make the weight. It is what it is. The reason I'm putting so much emphasis on weight is because, one, a person he's slated to potentially fight is Gennady Golovkin, and I think that fight can be made. I mean, I think he'll be probably fresher at 160. That's one reason. And then the other reason is just because it could affect your performance. Weight is tricky. Weight is really tricky. You know what I mean? Definitely can affect your performance late. I'm not doing a fight prediction, namely because I don't know enough about Liam Smith. Like most people didn't pick this fight. They didn't request this fight. And this is the fight that Golden Boy and Team Canelo are giving us. So I don't know enough about Liam Smith. However, from the research I have done since the fight was announced, watching Liam Smith and like hear him talk, and I watched the HBO Road to Canelo Smith, stuff like that, I think if Liam Smith stays out of danger early, then this could get real interesting, and he could actually make this a tougher fight. Because Canelo, for his whole career, he's gotten better with it, but that was also at like later in his recent performance. But one thing I noticed about Canelo, he fights in spurts. You know what I mean? He was real bad like when he was fighting like Shane Mosley and stuff like that. But then when he started fighting like Angulo and Lada and stuff at a catch weight, it looks like he had controlled his energy. He didn't expend or overexpend energy as much, so he wasn't fight. He was better for 12 rounds. But I seen it even in the Austin Trout fight. He seems like he peaks and like he'll explode and then he'll take a break. You know what I'm saying? So he's like trying to conserve energy. Now the reason I'm bringing it up is because if you struggle to make weight, these things become more difficult, like controlling your energy or going up too much in weight like Conor McGregor did and Nate Diaz. All these things can play a part. So I'm actually kind of interested for this fight. Like I said, I'm not doing a prediction. I don't know enough about Liam Smith, but if he could stay out of trouble early and deal with Canelo's hand speed, I think he actually can make it, from what I've seen, he can make it a pretty tough fight, especially if Canelo doesn't feel he's at his best. But Canelo typically does well with people that bring the fight to him. And I think that's kind of why they picked him, because they're looking at him as the weakest champion and someone who they're not going to have to chase around the ring or use any kind of lateral movement. It's just going to be a dogfight, and Canelo usually fares pretty well. They even said that. And the funny thing is, I see a lot of fighters that struggle with guys who use movement because they don't know how to cut off the ring properly, and they always use that as like the selling point, because they said this post-fight when HBO was interviewing Canelo. They said, oh, it's because we want to give the fans a show, that's why we like Liam Smith. No, you like Liam Smith because with his style of fight, you usually fare well with that. You usually do good and do better and look better against guys like James Kirkland. You know what I mean? Guys, when they slow down, like when Amir Khan slowed down, because you didn't look good those first 4 rounds. But when he started to slow down from moving up in weight and he was more slower and more of a sitting duck in front of you, that's where you do well. That's where you excel, right? So it's not about selling tickets or oh, yeah, Liam Smith is going to give the show. It'll give you a better showing. That's what it is. You know what I mean? A lot of people, oh, this guy's runner, he's a runt. Man, you got to deal with it. I talked to Andre Ward personally. He told me, you got to deal with every style. You know what I'm saying? If you're in the Olympics, you can't be like, man, I'm not fighting that dude from Russia. He hits too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even make sense. You can't pick and choose what styles. Some people are punchers. Some people know how to use their legs and frustrate you with upper body movement and defense. You got to deal with all that. That's no different than a fighter saying, I'm not fighting that dude because he hits too hard. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's a strategic trait or advantage that he has that you have to deal with, period. You know what I mean? But again, I don't know enough about Liam Smith to make a full-fledged, like a 7 reasons some of you guys are asking. I don't know enough about him to ask that, but he looks pretty durable. He looks pretty tough. He just hasn't been tested at this high level. But if he can deal with Canelo's hand speed and be in the fight a couple rounds without getting severely hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like Cotto versus Sergio Martinez. Martinez was just in survival mode. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was too badly hurt. His leg was too badly gone. But if he can stay out of stuff like that, then it could be, I think it'll be probably a better fight than people are expecting. Don't know he wins it because, again, I don't know enough about him, but I think it could be. And one indication is the early indication that I really believe Liam Smith had an easier time making weight. He looks jovial. He looks happy. And another thing I did like with Liam Smith is he didn't look frustrated with this moment. He's in a pro Canelo crowd. There's a ton of like Hispanic fans waving the Mexican flag, and Liam Smith, he actually looks pretty durable. I heard on the special he's been fighting all his life, like street fighting and stuff like that in England and getting in fights at school and stuff. But it didn't look like he was breaking, so that's a great sign for a guy who's untested. I like to see that. I like to see that where it doesn't look like the moment's getting to him. But I do believe Canelo, he struggled a bit with weight. I mean, it's evident. You look at Liam Smith, he looks chipper. He looks happy. You know what I mean? He's just ready to eat and ready to get it on. So if he can stay out of trouble, it's going to be very interesting. You look at Canelo, he was gulping the Pedialyte or Gatorade or whatever it is. Those are all indications, but we'll see. Canelo does have the better resume, and he is a skilled fighter. I just seen Canelo. I'm going to go to Golden Boy's page and show you guys. See what I'm looking at? Like, just look at mannerism. You got to look at stuff like this. Mannerism, facial expression. He doesn't really look happy. He just looks like, come on, let's get this over with. I'm ready to go. I mean, you guys can take it how you want. I try not to read too far into it, but I could tell when fighters are in their mood, because I've been to weigh-ins live and try to interview some guys, and people, they're not interviewing with media. They're just out. You know what I mean? We're going to Olive Garden. We need some carbs. We need some pasta. And they peace out. You know what I mean? It's just like, come on, let's get this show on the world. All these fans are in the crowd waiting for you, and that's a big-ass stadium, FYI. But they're all waiting for you, cheering, and he doesn't even look happy. So this might be a better fight than people thought. Clarissa Shields and another gold medalist, Oscar De La Hoya. Cool picture. A little bit of cheeks. So you guys let me know what it is. I think it could actually be a better fight than a lot of people anticipate. Again, I don't know enough. Let me know if you guys are getting this fight, or if you're going to stream it, or what are you going to do. Wow, people are still going in. Let me know what you think. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego signing off.